Hello boys and girls, welcome to the Math Club. In this video, we're going to talk about Mathematics Year 9 Achievement Test, May 2022. Now, question 8. Work out the value of these numbers. Now, if it's an MCQ question or multiple choice question, you can use a calculator and it will give you the correct answer without any steps. But if this question is coming in section B, you have to write your steps. I'm going to answer this question using the steps so you can answer or understand what's going on here. First, this is a mixed number, so we have to turn it into an improper fraction, and then we're going to subtract 3/4 out of it. Now let's work on this first. Let's make it a mixed number. It's 1 and 1 over 6, so let's do it that way. First, we're going to use the same denominator, so it's going to be like this. Same denominator, it's going to be 6 here. And to find the numerator, we're going to multiply and add. So multiply these and add them on top. So 6 times 1 is going to be 6. 6 plus 1 is going to be 7. So this one is 7 over 6. 7 over 6. And then minus 3 over 4. Minus 3 over 4. Minus 3 over 4. Now, after you did this step, you can now make the denominators the same. To make the denominators the same, you have to multiply them. Because they're not the same here, and they're not related to each other in any of the times table, you have to multiply them. So multiply the denominators here, like this. 6 times 4 equals, very good, 24. So it's going to be 24 over 24. And then, after multiplying the denominators, you cross multiply these and use the same sign in the middle. So you say 4 times 7 is going to be what? It's going to be 28. And then minus 6 times 3 is going to be 18. So 28 minus 18 over 24. And then when you simplify it, when you subtract these, is going to be 10. 28 minus 18 is going to be 10 over 24. Over 24. Now, to simplify this, you're going to divide them. Divide them as much as you can. You can use the calculator to divide, or you can use an easier method, maybe by dividing by 2 all the time until you get stuck. So we're going to divide the first one by 2. Divide this by 2 is going to be 5. And then divide the lower one by 2, 24 by 2, it's going to be 12. Now you have 5 over 12, and 5 over 12 can't be divided or simplified anymore. So the answer is 5 over 12. This is the value or the final answer for this question. Now, if you want to check or you want to use the calculator to simplify fractions, it's easy. Just use the calculator and write the fraction, push equals, it will give you the simplified fraction without doing any steps. But I did the steps here for you guys so you understand if this question comes in a step or in section B, you have to write your steps like this. And this is how you answer question 8. Now let's move on to the next question. Question 9. Work out the value of this. As we said, if it comes in a multiple choice question, you can do it directly with a calculator. And if it's in section B, you have to do the steps. Now let me do the steps so you understand every single one of them. As you can see, we have brackets here. So we have to do what's inside the bracket first. Let's do them down here. I don't want to mix things up for you guys. Let's do it here, all of it. So we have 100. We write 100. And then inside the bracket, what do we have? Let's make it like this. Okay. We have plus. And then what's inside the bracket? Let's do brackets first. We have the square root of 121. The square root of 121. The square root of 121 is 11. So we write 11 inside of it, inside the brackets. Okay. The 11 is multiplied by what? Multiplied by 4. Multiply 4. and then minus 13. And outside we have 7 squared, so we do 7 squared like this. It's gonna be 49, like this. And there's a minus before it, so minus 49. Next step, same idea. We finish what's inside the bracket. We write the 100 as it is, plus. And then we have 11 times 44, 4 is 44. And all of this inside the bracket, okay? 44 minus 13, you close the bracket, follow the steps, do one step at a time so you don't get confused, okay? Now, we finish what's inside the bracket, 44 minus 13 like this. So 44 minus 13, and it's gonna be 31, and then minus 49. And then you do it from the beginning, 100, plus 31 minus 49. And the final answer will be 82. And this is how you answer a question like this. You have to follow the steps, and then they will lead you to the final answer. And this is how you answer a question like this. Now, let's move on to the next question. Question 10. A teacher chooses one letter from the word science and one letter from the word history. What's the probability that he chooses the letter I from both words? So we need the probability of the letter I from both words. Now, because we have two words and these two words have I in them, we have to find the probability of choosing the I from each one of them. Now, the probability of choosing an I is how many I's do you have on or divided by the total number of letters that you have. Here in science we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and one I. So the probability of choosing an I from a science is going to be 1 over 7. So we write it like this. This is the I from science. And the second one, the probability of choosing I from history. History has 7 letters. So I is one of them. So the probability of choosing an I from history is going to be 1 over 7. Same idea. So we're going to put 1 over 7 here. And they want both words. And both words means what? It means that they are what? Very good. They are dependent events. It means if I choose I from history, I must choose I from science. So it means they are dependent events. They depend on each other. They depend on each other. Now, and as we said that science and history depend on each other because choosing I from history depends on you choosing I from science because they want both words together. That's why dependent events, we take the probability of them and we multiply them by each other. This is how we answer questions like these. So when the events are dependent, we have to multiply the probabilities by each other. Same idea as we did before using the tree diagram with the two boxes. Now, you can do this using the tree diagram, same idea. Now, let me show you how you do it with the tree diagram. Maybe it's better for you. Let me cover this. First, let's find the answer. So when you multiply these, the answer will be 1 over 49. Yes, 1 over 49. This is the final answer for this question. Now we understand that the answer is 1 over 49. Good. Now I'm going to show you how to do this or how to answer this using the tree diagram. Let me first remove all of this. Let me cover this like this. Yeah. We have science and history, remember, okay? Science and history. Now to use the tree diagram, we're going to say that this is science and then this is history. Okay. I'm not going to use all the letters. I'm going to use I and not I. So this is science. And this one is history. Now, what's the probability of choosing an I from science? Very good. It's 1 over 7. And then probability of choosing an I from history, same idea. And here, not I. And here, not I. So you understand the idea. Sorry. Now, we said that the probability of choosing an I from science is 1 over 7. So we write 1 over 7. This is the probability of choosing an I from science. And the probability of choosing an I from history, same idea, 1 over 7. That's the idea of using or choosing both of them, okay? Now, if we follow the path of I, we find the two probabilities with each other. And because these events are dependent, we're going to multiply the two probabilities by each other, and the answer will be 1 over 49. And this is how you answer a question like this, using the tree diagram. Now, let's move on to the next question. Question 11. The absence of average test score of each student in a class are shown in a scatter graph. A student with 25% absence joins the class. What would be the best estimate of his average test score? These are the test scores. This is the average, and this is the absence percentage. Now we need a student with a 25% absence. So we're going to come to the absence, find the 25%, go up until the line stops us, and then we go back to the average test score. Now, first thing, when we have a scatter graph, first thing we do is what? Very good. We draw a best fit line. We draw a best fit line. So let's draw a best fit line first, like this. Let's make it, okay, so we can see the question. First, we draw a best fit line, and the best fit line should cover most of the dots, like this. Something like that, yeah. Okay, most of them. Some of them are on top, some of them are in the bottom. So this is the best fit line that I did. Now I'm going to use this best fit line to answer the question. We need a student with a 25% absence rate, which is here. A 25% absence rate, let's make this smaller. So I'm going to go from 25%. Now, the first thing I got stopped by is this point. Can I count this point? No, I can't, because it's not on the line. I only got stopped by the line itself, the best fit line. And then I go back to the average score, and I get a 70. I get a 70. So the answer will be, very good, the answer will be 70. And this is how you answer a question like this. So first thing you do, you draw a best fit line, find the 25%, go on top, go up until the best fit line stops you, and then you go back to the average test score, and then you find the answer that you need. Now let's move on to the next question. Question 12. A telephone company uses this formula to calculate how much a customer must pay. This is the formula that we have, where T is the total cost, this is the T, P is the number of minutes on calls during peak times, and N is the number of minutes on calls during non-peak times. So N non-peak, P is peak times, and then T is the total cost. A customer spends 60 minutes on calls during non-peak times, which is the N. The total cost that she must pay is $51, which is the T. How many minutes did she spend on calls during peak times, which is P? So we are looking for P. We have T and N. Now we're going to substitute the numbers that we have, and then we're going to find the P, okay? Let's use this space to work. We know the total is 51, so we write 51 instead of the T, 51. Let's make it smaller. So 51 equals 0.25 multiplied by the P. Do we have the P here? No, we don't. The peak time or the P is needed in the question. So we're going to write it as it is, P. And then plus, we have 0.2 N, so 0.2 multiplied by N. What is the n? It's the non-peak time. The non-peak time here is 60 minutes, so we're going to write 60. We got 60. And then plus 15. Now we have ourselves an equation. We're going to try to make P the subject and then find the value of P. So first thing we do, let's take this so we can work it here. We're going to do it step after another. First, we're going to make P the subject, so we're going to take everything here to the other side. First, let's do or solve them together. We're going to solve all of these together first. Okay, so first let's solve this, which is 0.2 multiplied by 60, and it's going to give me an answer. I'm going to put it here. So 0.2 times 60, let's do it here. It's going to be 12. So this is 12. And then I'm going to add 15 to it. So it's going to be 12 plus 15. I have to do these steps so I can understand how to answer the question. So it's going to be 27. Now I have 51. Let's write them together. 51 equals 0.25 P. And then all of this gave me 27. So plus 27, like this. I don't have to do it. I have it. Okay. I'll just put the plus. Okay. So I answered all of these. I got 27, and then I got these here. Okay. Now I'm going to finish answering the question by taking the 27 to the other side by subtraction. So it's going to be 51 minus 27. 51 minus 27 equals 0.25 P. Now 51 minus 27, I'm going to do it with a calculator. 51 minus 27, it gave me 24. So 24 here, make space, equals 0.25 P. Now the 0.25 or 25 is multiplied by P, so I'm going to take it to the other side by dividing, or divide both sides by 0.25. It is the same idea, it will have the same answer. So I'll multiply both sides by 0.25, divide, divide, because it's multiplied, it's going to be taken by dividing to the other side. So this one goes with this one, I end up with P. So P will give me 24 divide 0.25. So 24 divide 0.25, and I will get 96. I will get 96. So the final answer, the peak time minutes are 96. And this is how you answer a question like this. Now, let's review the steps, step after another. So first thing we did, we understand that this is the formula that we're going to use. We took these numbers, the 60 is the 51 is the total. The 60 is the peak, is the non-peak time, which is the n. So I substituted the 60 by 60 instead of n, 51 instead of t, and I got this formula, equation. Then I worked this out, I got 12, and I added 15 is going to be 27. I took 27 to the other side by subtraction. I got 24 here, and then 24 equals 0.25 P. I divide both sides by 0.25, and then P equals 96, and this is how I answer a question like this. Now let's move on to the next question. Question 13. Okay. In question 13, factorize. We have a quadratic equation, a quadratic expression. We're going to factorize it. X squared minus 10x plus 24. Same idea as we did before. Let me zoom in, and then we factorize it, and then we go back, okay? Let's remove this. So x squared minus 10x plus 24. First thing we do, we look at the sign of the last number, which is positive. It means addition. So we write add, so we don't forget, okay? This is addition. And because it's addition, it means that we have the same signs, because we always add the same signs. Now I'm gonna do the double brackets. Let's make it bigger. Do spaces between them. Do X's and spaces. Okay. I'll make it longer so it fits. Now, like this, yes. Now we have X and X. And because this is plus or positive, it means we're gonna add. And we always add the same signs. It means these brackets will have the same signs. How do we know what is the sign? We look here. So it's negative. So this one is negative. This one is negative. Now the final step is finding the two numbers inside here. First thing we do, we take the 24 and factorize it. Take this 24, find the factors of 24. So 24 here, what are the factors? As we said, factors, it means 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and 6 times if you need it. Now, let's take a look at 24. When we divide it by 1, it's going to be, very good, 24. So this one is 24. And when you divide by 2, it's going to be 12. When you divide by 3, it's going to be 8. When you divide by 4, it's going to be 6. When you divide by 5, you get nothing. So we're not going to use the 5, okay? Now, these are the factors of 24. I'm going to use these factors because I need two numbers. When I multiply them, I get 24. All of these two numbers are multiplied to get 24. Now, when you add them, as this said, when you add them, you get what? You get 10. You get 10. So which two numbers, when you add them, you get 10? Very good. It's 4 and 6. So I'm going to put 4 and 6 here. And this is how you factorize these expressions, or the quadratic expressions. So x minus 4, x minus 6 is the final answer for this question, okay? X minus 4 and x minus 6. Now, let's check the answer. X minus 4, x minus 6, which is C, as you can see here. This is the final answer, x minus 4, x minus 6. And this is how you answer a question like this. When you factorize, you have to focus on the steps. Follow the steps. Look at this sign. If it's positive, write add on top of it. And then take this, do the double bracket, put the x and the x. If it's add, it means same sign. Look at this sign, put negative, negative, and then take this number, factorize it, and then find the numbers that when you add them, you get 10. And this is how you answer question 13. Now let's move on to the next question. 14. Which inequality is illustrated on the number line below? As we talked about inequalities before, we said that inequalities on number lines, they have circles. And the circles here, one of them is opened, one of them is closed. Open circles means not included, or the number or the value not included. But closed circles means it's included. So closed circles means equal sign with the inequality sign. Open circle means no equal sign with the inequality sign. So when we talk about this means what? The data here, the 3 for example, is smaller than 4, right? Smaller than 4. So the sign will be like this, smaller than. And because it's opened, we're not going to put equal sign here. And we're going to put this number, which is the 4. That's the first step. Now we come here, we have the negative 1 on this side, and then we have the closed circle. Same idea, the 0 is bigger than negative 1, so we're going to put the bigger sign like this. And then, or negative 1 smaller than 0. And because this is closed, we're going to put an equal sign here. So these are the two signs of the inequality that we're going to use. So look at the two signs here. Are they the same? They're not. Are they the same? They're not. Are they the same? Yes, they are. So this is the final answer of this inequality. So focus. If it's open circle, it means it's not equal. If it's closed circle, it's equal. That's the idea of inequalities. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. Question 15. Find a solution to the equation. So we have an equation here. We're gonna find the solution. one of these is the right solution. Now, let's do it step by step. Let's do it here. X squared plus 30 equals 226. Now, the first step that we have to do is make x the subject. So we're going to take the 30 to the other side and change the sign. It's going to be negative 30. So let's write it here. We're going to write x squared. Follow the steps and you'll do well. So x squared equals, because we took 30 to the other side, is going to be 226 minus 30. And then x squared, steps are important in answering any question, so you have to follow them. So 226 minus 30 is going to be 196. Now, because we have square here, we have to do the opposite of a square. As we talked about it before, we're going to use the square root. So we're going to square root both sides here and here. Remember this, square root is the opposite of square. So the square root of x squared is going to be x. And then the square root of 196 is going to be 14. So x equals 14, and this is the final answer for this question. X is 14. So focus on the steps. The first thing we did, we took the 30 to the other side and we made it minus 30. And then we subtracted these, we got 196. And then to remove the square, we put square root, and then x equals 14. And this is how you answer a question like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.